Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11. Appreciate you all joining in. Last week was a good week, with Bitcoin, everything went good. Like I said, I had a good feeling about Bitcoin last week, so I was happy about that. Around Tuesday or Wednesday, it did get a little shaky, but for me, that's when I bought more, just to average down a little bit more, and that way I have more, exposure to it. That way, when it rises like it did on Friday, like it normally does, Bitcoin usually rises Thursday and Friday. When it rolls on Friday, you're more exposed to it. You make more money. So that was the good thing about that. I know you all were excited about that. All my Bitcoin fans out there. So I was happy to get back to that this weekend. Be proud about that because that's one of the things that was I was looking forward to. I was excited about like I said on Tuesday or Wednesday you saw it drop down. So I'm pretty sure some people got a little worried. They didn't know how volatile Bitcoin is. You really don't know whether it's gonna keep going up or keep going down. So you get a little nervous there. But like I always tell people, be patient. Don't have anything into a stock that you don't want to lose. That way, if you do lose it all, you're not really pressed or you're not really playing on emotions. Now you're playing on smarts. So that was pretty cool to see last week how Bitcoin played out and all the stocks that I mentioned played out regarding following the rise of Bitcoin up and down, up and down. This week, I know last week NFTs went crazy, so a lot of people want to know about NFTs. So I want to do a short, quick around on NFTs and some, stocks to look into that is following the NFT hype and craze right now. And if you don't know what an NFT stock is, NFT is pretty much digital artwork, right? So, you say NBA, they're doing some things as far as, offering some of their playing cards or plays digitally, right? You can buy them digitally. Same thing here. That's any stock that's involved in like in digital arts. I believe some art sold last week was one piece of digital art sold for 70 million last week. So that just raised the hype around NFT type stocks. So that was pretty much big, and I had a lot of people reach out to me about NFT, any tickers, they can, do some research on, and wanted me to mention it in this episode. So the first one I wanted to talk about that I, made good money last week on that I think is one of the best NFT tickers out there was TCAT, and that's TKAT. The thing about them is amazing, right? So they're already in NFT, already mentioned things about it. They already work with that. They are the top of the line, I feel like, as far as stocks when it comes to NFT, just because they was just recently around $4. Just looking into it when I saw the hype around NFTs, growing and growing and growing, especially when I saw the NBA, because the NBA was one of the first companies I saw talking about offering NFT type things, right? So offering digital cards that you can buy and purchase outright. So I thought that was pretty cool, which got me interested in looking at other companies doing such things like that. And I came across TCAT, and around the price was like around like 420 when I started looking at it. It had a dip and then went back up. So as always, like I always tell people, I started me in position and then continue to, add on to the shares from there and there and there and there. And then last week, as you all see, if you're following the trend on that, TCAT exploded, right? Got all the way up to, I think, like $36, $37, all the way from $4. So that's major, right? Even if you bought, let's say 1,000 shares, you just easily made 30,000 right there, just based off spending 4,000 on 1,000 shares at a time. So that was pretty cool when it comes to NFT stocks right now. That was one of the things I thought was cool about that because I knew, hey, there's a lot of hype around it. So this is going to be very volatile, right? All these stocks, when there's hype around them, just like Bitcoin, they're going to be very volatile. They're going to be going up and down all the time, right? So what I advise anybody that's investing in an NFT type of stock, definitely, have your stop losses set. And then once you make your good money, don't be too greedy on it. Go ahead and take your money and get out because it's a very volatile type of stock and it's going to continue to go up and down, up and down, up and down. One day you can be up 100 and next day you can be down 100. That's the type of, play these stocks are. So I would definitely, yield caution to that because, these stocks are not like typical stocks. They really don't follow the technicals of things. They're more on, hey, hype, volume, things like that. The volume's up, stock's gonna be up. Once the volume gets taken away, the stock's gonna, the bottom of the stock's gonna just drop. You're gonna reach back down to those low price range. Right now, I don't see that happening much next week. Just because it's fresh, it's new hype, similar to like, you look at Bitcoin or other stocks like GameStop, right? When the hype is there, the stock is going to be up. When the hype is down, the stock's going to be down. So I see that falling to next week. I think, NFT stocks are amazing right now. They're just big on, going forward, the next week or two, I think they're going to be big, big, big stocks to follow. Another stock that I wanted you all to look into was HOF, right? I'm pretty sure you all heard about that, HOFV. Again, that's HOFV, and that's the Hall of Fame Resort. They were around $1 or $2, and then they started mentioning doing something similar to what the NBA is doing. They haven't confirmed it yet, but they're mentioning and say, hey, we looked into it, drop a little hints that they're thinking about doing it. And then as you see the stock start to rise, right? And personally, I think that they can get into the NFT field just because the NBA is already doing it. They can easily follow the NBA's footsteps when the route that they took to get to that point. They have the same type of materials that they can offer. They can offer, digital playing cards just like the NBA and plays and things like that, highlight reels. They can offer all those things that people are going to want to buy. So I definitely see them, pursuing that because it's a line of revenue that they haven't tapped into yet. So that would be big once they officially announce that they're actually into it. So that's another company I want you all to look at. Like I said, it's HOFV. I think it follows the same, trend line right now as far as, the NFT stocks, the hype around that. And not only that, I want you all to look into it. It is a Hall of Fame resort. So with things opening back up, that stock should continue to rise up as well. So it has two big catalysts, right? You have the one with the world opening back up. So people are going to be able to go visit the Hall of Fame resort. They're going to be able to start making money. So the stock's going to rise up there. And then you have the NFT playing field. So I think HOF is a great stock to look into because they have two big things that can, push this stock up. And I see Monday, just with the short squeeze coming up, over this past weekend, with Friday, a lot of things expiring, a lot of options and call options expiring there. I see Monday is going to be a big, big, big short squeeze on this one. So I think Monday, this stock is going to rise tremendously. Even, before the pre-market hours, you're going to see this stock rise. And the final stock that I want you all to look into is JFIN. Same thing as the other two on the NFT field. They're not in NFT yet. They're just like HOF when it comes to that. The only one that I really focus on is TCAT because TCAT is already into it. But they are looking into it. I see them following that same trend line as any other NFT ticker. So I think JFIN is another great stock to look into, especially looking into next week, just because, like I said, they are following the same trend lines as these other two stocks that I mentioned. So I believe, if those other two stocks continue to rise, the hype around NFT continues to rise, then you're going to see, all three of these stocks continue to go up, and up. But the one thing, like I said, with the Hall of Fame Resort that's different from the other two is they also have with people, opening back up. So it's not only just focused on digital artwork. Now it's also focused on people coming in, physical, checking out the Hall of Fame, things like that. The more and more the world open backs up. So that's the three stocks I wanted to go over this week. Like I said, I think the hype around this right now is the same regarding any other stock like GameStop or Bitcoin or anything like that. I think with all the hype going on right now, it's a great time to get in and get out. But just make sure you set your stop losses, right? Make sure you don't have any, too much exposure. You don't have anything in it that you're not willing to lose. That way, you're set, you're good. Like I always say, you're not really playing on emotions. Now you're playing on smarts and fundamentals. And that will always win out throughout, So that's why I always want to tell people, don't ever, lose the fundamental sides of things. Because once you start playing based off emotions, that's when you see your stuff start to lose more and more money over time. This video is going to be a short video. I definitely wanted to make it short and sweet this week. But NFTs, like I said, look out for next week. I see them continue to rise. Bitcoin stocks, I'm not 100% sure on those this week. I still, of course, keep 25% in those stocks. I did pull majority of my profits out last week. But I can still see Bitcoin continue to do a great thing. So that's another thing I would tell people to look into, this following week, especially with more stimulus money being pushed in. Some people didn't receive their stimulus yet. So when, people receiving their stimulus, you're going to see more and more money being pushed into the market, which means, good for the market. But keep in mind, what people are talking about as far as bond yields and things like that rising, that will push the market down. So keep that in the back in your mind. That way, like I always say, you're not too exposed. Keep your portfolio just lined up right. As long as the dollar continues to drop, personally, I think the market's going to be okay. But if the dollar rises and now the yields are rising, that's when you're going to see a lot of, the stock market going red like before. But I think right now we're in the middle zone, so we're still safe. But just keep an eye on that because the market could definitely drop tremendously with these bond yields continue to rise. Thank you all for joining in. I appreciate it as always. Any questions, any concerns, like I always say, drop a comment below and I try to get to it in the next episode. Thank you all for joining. God bless.